Yes, good afternoon everybody. Today we'll be designing the reinforced concrete deck slab for the class AA tracked vehicle. Basically, this is the highest load which comes from the vehicle onto the deck slab. So we'll be designing for this. So design a reinforced slab culvert for a state highway to suit the following details. The details are given as carriageway is 2 lanes, 7.5 meter wide, M20 grade of concrete, and the grade of steel is Fe415. The curbs are 600 mm wide. Clear span is 6 meters and the bearing coat is 80 mm, and the width of bearing is 0.4 meter. So loading class A tracked vehicle has to be designed. Design RC deck slab and sketch the details of reinforcement in the longitudinal and cross section of the slab. So we have different class loadings. Class A tracked is there and class A wheeled is there, class AB. But today we will be seeing only class A tracked vehicle because this is the highest maximum amount of loads comes from this tracked vehicle only, because basically this is a military tank. So if that military tank is passing over a deck slab, the amount of load which transfers from the tank to the deck slab has to be designed. Okay, fine. Let's see the step one. So the permissible stresses, design constants is the first step. Before that, we'll be deciding what should be the stresses to be taken. Sigma CBC is equal to 7 Newton per mm square. That is in bending compression. For M20 it is 7 Newton per mm square. You can see it is table 20, page 81 of IS 456. This is okay. And sigma ST, permissible stress in steel, that is 190 Newton per mm square I am taking. That is for Fe415. You can see it is from table 21 of page 82 of IS 456 of 2000. So we have decided this. Next, let's calculate modular ratio M. M is equal to 280 by 3 sigma CBC. You can see I have just submitted the values. 280 by 3 into 7 is 13.33. Approximately I am taking it as 13 here. Okay, K is M sigma CBC by M sigma CBC plus sigma ST is equal to 13 into 7 by 13 into 7 plus 180 is equal to 0.323. Okay, and J is 1 minus K by 3, that is 1 minus 0.323 by 3, that is 0.892. Okay, we have got M, K and J values. Let's find out Q value. The Q values, Q is equal to half into J into K into sigma CBC, that is 1.008. I have just substituted all the values. I am getting it as 1.008. Now the step 2, depth of slab plus effective span. Now here we'll have to assume the thickness of the slab, and basically at the last point we'll check whether the thickness of slab what we have taken is correct or not. It can be checked at the last step. Okay, let's assume the thickness of the slab as 80 mm per meter. So here the clear span he has given as 6 meters. So for per mm it is 80 mm. For per meter it is 80 mm we are taking. So for 6 meters it will be 480 mm. Approximately we are taking it as 500 mm. So effective depth is equal to overall depth minus clear cover plus half of dia of bar. We all know this. So we are assuming 25 mm dia bar and the clear cover of 25 mm. So effective depth is equal to 500 minus of 25 is your clear cover plus dia by 2. So 25 by 2, that is effective depth. We have got it as 462.5 mm here. Now the effective span is clear span plus effective depth. Clear span we have it as 6 meters, and here the effective depth is in mm is 462, so in meter it is 0.462, so it is 6.462 meter. Center to center of bearings it has been given as 0.4 meter. So 6 plus 0.4 by 2 plus 0.4 by 2, basically center to center of one bearing to center of other bearing. So it is 6.4. So LE we are getting it as 6.4. Now basically what we'll have to take is we'll have to take the next, let's draw all the dimensions here. So we'll know step 3, draw cross section of bridge. You can see here the carriageway width is 7.5 meter. He has given 2 lane, multi-lane is 2 lane, 7500 mm, and the the curbs are given as 600 mm on the both the sides. I'm just after totaling carriageway width and the curbs, after adding them it is 8700 mm, and you can see the depth we have taken it as 500. No, you can just see on the left side D has been taken as depth of deck slab is 500 mm, overall depth that is, and TW is thickness of bearing coat, that is 80 mm. Okay, thickness of bearing coat 80 mm it has been given. Okay, and the 300 mm is the height of the curve which has been assumed 300 mm at the left part you can see. Now the step 4, so what we are doing is dead load. We'll have to find out the dead load as well as the live load. So first we'll find out the dead load, then we'll do the moment coming because of that dead load. So dead load of slab is basically self weight of slab, that is gamma c into ts. Gamma c is unit weight of concrete, that is 24 kilonewton per meter square, and ts is the thickness of the slab. We have taken it as 500 mm, that is 0.5 meter. So dead weight of slab is 24 into 0.5 is 12 kilonewton per meter. Okay, next you can see the dead weight of wearing coat. There is one wearing coat also coming onto this deck slab, which has been given as 80 mm. Thickness of wearing coat has been given. So this is also a dead weight, dead load. So that is given by gamma w into tw. Gamma w is unit weight of wearing coat, which has been given by 22 kilonewton per meter square, and the thickness of wearing coat is 80 mm, that is 22 into 0.08. Anyway, the dead load of the wearing coat is 1.76 kilonewton per meter. Okay. Now the total dead load from the self weight of slab as well as the wearing coat, it comes up to 12 plus 1.6, that is 13.76 kilonewton per meter. Okay. So the dead load bending moment you can see here, we have got the dead load, total dead load we have got 13.76. Now we are calculating the bending moment. So bending moment is WD into LE square by 8, WL square by 8, basically 13.76 into 6.4 square by 8. 6.4, we have got the effective span. You can just see, if you can remember from the previous steps, you can just see here 6.4. Effective depth we have got it as you can just see here effective span, 6.462 and 6.4. So LE basically we will be taking whichever is the less. So we have taken 6.4 here. So 13.76 into 6.4 square by 8, that is M dead load as moment of dead load 70.45 kilonewton per meter. Now the step 3 is the live load bending moment. This is important here, and this live load only changes in all the whatever class loading is given, whether it is tracked vehicle or wheeled vehicle or class A or B loading. From here this changes. For class A tracked vehicle, you can see impact factor is given as impact factor IF is equal to 25 minus 15 by 4 into LE minus 5. So I'm just substituting the values. LE we have got it as 6.4 effective span, 25 minus 15 by 4 into 6.4 minus 5. So I'm getting the impact factor as 19.75%. Now let's find out the effective length of the road. Effective length, which is that part which can be used effectively, part of the road which can be used effectively. So LR is equal to LT plus 2 into TS plus TW 2 times. So what is LT? Length of tracked vehicle. From the charts you can see, where I had already shown you all, from the charts you can see the length of the tracked vehicle is 3.6 meters. Length of tracked vehicle 3.6 meters. Okay, that is how we have got. You have to see the charts of the tracked vehicle which has been given by the IRC code. Okay, so TS's thickness of slab is 500 mm, that is 0.5 meter. Thickness of wearing coat is 80 mm, that is 0.08 meter. I am converting everything into meter. So length of road is effective length of road LR. We are getting it as 4.76 meter. You can see here I have just substituted the values of TS and TW. After calculating it, I am getting the effective length of road as 4.76 meter. Now let's see the next step, effective width of the load, where how the load disperses. Basically this is seen here. B is equal to K into X into 1 minus X by LE plus B by W. So BW. So LE is 6.4, we know. X is 6.4 by 2. Now what is X? See, basically you can see the UDL loading is the loading of the tracked vehicle which has been placed at the center. It has been placed at the center. So you want to see how the X is from one corner to the center. So we know the effective span is 6.4, half of 6.4 is 3.2, and the K value for simply supported slab it is given as 2.77. The slab acts as it is resting on simply supported columns. You can see here. So 2.77 will be taken. So BW is BV plus 2 times of TW. This is how we'll be calculating it. What we'll have to do is we are just substituting this value of BW BV is 0.850. What is 0.850? It is 850 mm. This is the contact area of the track. Contact area of the track, which is coming. Contact area of the track. 850 mm. You can see from the chart. And TW is 80 mm. So just substitute. We are getting it as 1.01 m. So effective width of load dispersion, we are getting it as 5.442. Okay. Now you can see our next step. So this is 5.442 for one track or one wheel. You can see we are getting it as 5.442. Now the total effective weight, because there are two wheels or two tracks, you can say. So how is it? We have to see this now. You can just see here. I've just drawn the whole diagram here. 600 mm is the curb, and C. What is C? This is the clear distance. This is also given in the code. Like the tracked vehicle will move 1200 mm far away from the curb. It won't stick to the curb. It will be 1200 mm a little bit far away from the curb. 850 mm is the contact area of the track, and the distance between the two tracks is 1200 mm, and the other track contact area is also 850 mm. You can just see the dispersion diagrams here. From one track we are getting one dispersion, from the other track we are getting the other dispersion. That is what I have drawn here. Now let's see what is the total area. We'll have to calculate 1 plus 2 plus 3. You can just see here what is the first is from the start of the curb to the center of the first tracked vehicle. So 600 is the dimension of the curb, 1200 is the clear distance, and 850 by 2 because it is center of the track. So simple, that is 2225. The second part you can see from one center of one track to the center of other track. You can see that is the distance. So 850 by 2 plus 1200 is the distance between them, and 850 by 2, that is 2050. Now last, what is this? 5442 by 2. See the third point, where I have placed the 3, you can see, circle 3 you can see. What is that? We'll have to find out. As I have showed you, you can see in the above figure, BE is given as, that is the dispersion of load for one track. So basically this track only the half dispersion we'll have to take, half dispersion. We don't have to take the full dispersion, we have to take only the half dispersion. So half dispersion you can see as the full dispersion BE, we got it as 5442. Half of it will be 2721. I'm just adding all of them, 1 plus 2 plus 3. I'm getting it as 6996. This is the total dispersion of the loads of the tracks. This is 6996. Okay. Now the total load of two tracks with impact, you can see W track is 35 tons plus 35 tons into 1 plus impact factor. 35 tons is the load coming from one track onto the ground. This is the highest load, 35 tons. From each track, 35 tons, 35 tons. Now 1 ton is 10 kilonewton. I'm just changing this 35 tons into kilonewton, that is 350 kilonewtons. And impact factor is 19.7%, so it is 0.197. So 350 plus 350 into 1 plus 0.197, I'm getting it as the total load of two tracks. I'm getting it as 837.9, approximately 838. Now you have to just see the average intensity of the load. W is equal to average intensity of the load. What is the average intensity of the load? W is equal to W track by LR, effective length of road, into effective load, BE. So you can just see here, LR is 4.76 and BE is 6.996. I've just substituted these values. 838 by 4.76 into 6.996 is equal to 25.17 kilonewton per meter square. This is the average intensity of the load. Okay, let's find out the maximum bending moment due to live load. Now we have calculated everything. Now as we had seen the bending moment due to dead load, now we will be seeing the bending moment due to live load also. Now the maximum moment is given by WLR into x by 2 minus of WLR by 2 into LR by 4. W is given as 25.17, LR has been given by 4.76, effective length of road, x is 3.2. You just need to substitute these values, we get the moment here of the live load, due to live load. After substituting these values, we got it as 120.49 kilonewton per meter. I've got this. I've just substituted all these. I've got this as 120.49. Now the total design moment, the dead load plus live load, total design moment. We have calculated the design moment of dead load separately, moment of live load separately. Now I'm adding up the dead load moment and the live load moment. I'm getting it as 70.4 plus 120.49, that is 190.89, approximately 191 kilonewton per meter. So this is the design moment. We need it at the time of AST calculation, area of steel calculation. Let's see the step 6, shear due to class A tract. Just remember, while finding out the previous, we had placed the tracked vehicle at the center. For shear, always remember, we'll have to place the tracked vehicle at the corner near the curb, because the shear is maximum that at that place. So we have placed this tracked vehicle at the corner. We have not placed it at the center. This thing you will have to remember here. Because of that, the x value is also changing here. X value. The same formula of load dispersion is given. BE is equal to K into X into 1 minus X by LE plus BW. You can just see K value is same, BW value is same, LE is same. X value is changing here because I told you the X value in the previous also, it was from the one curve to the where the loading had been placed, to the center of the load. Here the loading has been placed to the corner of the near the curb. So it is X is 4.76 by 2. That is 2.38 I am getting. Effective length of road. Okay. So B here I am getting it as 5.16. Okay. But for shear, the effective load dispersion is changing. Okay. The width of dispersion due to shear, you can see, I just calculated that. You will have to see the previous figure. 1 plus 2, only third. First and second are same. Third is the dispersion here. There it was 5442. Here it is 5160 by 2. So that is changing a little bit here. Okay, 6855 mm, 6.85 meter. Load intensity, average load intensity W is equal to W track by LR by into BW. 838 we had already got by 4.76 into 6.855. That is 25.65. So for shear force, you can see the formula here. How do we calculate it? VA is equal to W into LR into LE minus X by LE. Just substitute the value of W and LR, you will get the values. 25.65 into 4.76 into 6.4 is the we have the effective span, and X is 2.38. We are getting it as 76.80. This is the shear force coming. So dead load shear, WD into LE by 2, WL by 2. Dead load we had already calculated it as 13.76. I'm just substituting it here. Dead load shear is 13.76 into 6.4 by 2, that is 43.75 kilonewton. So total design shear due to dead load and live load. See, this is total design shear. We had calculated total design moment. This is total design shear. So for dead load and live load, we have calculated 43.75 plus 76.80. That is 121. Design shear. This is, we need it later. Now the design of deck slab, effective depth required D is equal to root of M by Q into B. Total design moment, we already got it as 191. I'm just substituting. B is for unit width 1 meter. After substituting this value of Q and B, I'm getting the D as 435.3. See, after calculation, the depth, this is the depth we had required. We have put 462.5. So anyway, what the depth we have taken is more than this effective depth required. So we'll carry on with the effective depth of 462.5 only. Okay. Overall depth, if you remember, we had taken it as 500 mm. That was with clear cover and everything. Okay. Let's find out the area of steel here. M by sigma st into J into D. Simple calculations. M already we know, design moment, that is 191 into Newton mm. I'm converting it. Sigma st 190, J is 0.89, D is 462.5. Area of steel I'm getting as 2442. I'm adopting 25 mm dia bars, and spacing I'm getting it as 200 mm center to center. I'm providing 25 mm dia bars at 200 mm center to center. Just see, this is the last step. Distribution steel bending moment for distribution steel, that is given by 0.3 times of moment of bending moment of live plus 0.2 times of moment of dead. So live moment we know 120.36 and dead is 70.4. So moment of distribution is 50.2. Let's find the effective depth for distribution steel, that is I'm taking 12 mm dia bars. So effective depth for distribution steel I'm seeing, effective depth, I'm getting it as 444 mm. Okay, I'm just substituting the area of steel. I'm finding it as M distribution by sigma st into J into D. 50.2 into 10 to the power of 6 by 190 to 0.89444. Area of steel I'm getting as 670. I'm providing 12 mm dia bars, and the spacing I'm getting it as 150 mm center to center. See, 169 I've got, approximately I'm taking it as 150 mm center to center. Now the last step, you can see the check for shear stress. Tau is equal to VU over BD. V we have calculated total design shear. Hope you remember in the previous step, previous page. It is 121. B is a unit width, 1000 mm. D is 462. I'm just substituting these values. I'm getting tau V as 0.26 Newton per mm square. Let's see the tau C. AST into 100 into B. AST is the highest area of steel, whatever we got, 2414 to 100 by 1000 and 462. That is 528%. From table 17, I'm tau C, I'm getting it as 0.3. So 0.3 is greater than 0.26 and it is safe. So here we have completed this revision of class A tracked vehicle. If needed, you can ask me questions. We'll solve it. Anyway, thank you as of now.